Yo, what's going on? A couple guys came by for a visit today. We really didn't feel like videoing. You know, we're friends. We don't need to video all the time. When people come here, it doesn't mean you have to do a video. You know what I'm saying? But Rich, Tadpole 696, and his brother Rob came. The dude that gets you guys them beautiful NFL jerseys, NHL jerseys, and baseball jerseys. They stopped by. Rich said he was bored and he wanted to go take a look at Double Action. He took a ride up. We went to Double Action and showed him that. Then we went to South Philly, down there, the South Philly Gun Club, and it's right off of 9th Street. Actually, right where Rocky won. You know, when Rocky runs down to 9th Street and the people tossing them oranges and shit. Same exact spot. And there's this gun store there called South Philly Gun Club. Really nice gun store. Prices are so-so, but man, guess what? They had a lot of shit there. They got a lot of good stuff there, and I picked up some night sights for my Glock 21, and that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to put them on. I hope they fit, because they don't look like the same style sights that's on my Glock, but we'll find out. Alright, let's keep going. Okay, first thing you need, guys, is a vise, a padded vise. And if yours ain't padded, do what I did. You make it padded. Wrap some, get a pair of your old underwear or something, and some electrical tape, and wrap it around there. Actually, there's rubber bumper pads under this, because this would not be enough. The steel would come through, cut through, and mess up your gun really bad. There's a full magazine of Remington hollow points. Take them out. Here's the rear night sights. Now he told me these are Glock, and they have the Glock insignia stamped on them. That's a good sign. There's the rear sight. Here's the front sight with the Glock insignia on it, I think. Yep. And I got them for $80. That's good price. Usually night sights are about $100 or up. Sometimes they're $130. He tried to sell me the fiber optic sights. I'm really not a fan of those, man, because I don't know. They can break. I've had fiber optic sights in my Taurus Judge, and I was shot it and the thing flew out of there. I had a fiber optic sight on my Ruger Mark III 22 stainless steel. The fiber optic sight came out of that. They just slid in a track and they're like press fitted in there. They're not glued or anything. Plus, they're only good in daylight. They don't glow. So I want this for home protection. I want night sights on this bad boy. Alright. First thing you do is make sure the firearm is clear. And of course it is. And we are going to take the slide off, so I will pull the trigger. Pull the slide back a hair. Alright. The updated parts I have on this Glock 21 so far is the extended takedown tabs, which work wonderful. Glock, Meister, nobody else. They make the best one. I got this steel guide rod in here. Yeah, I forgot the name of the company already. But it works great. And I will take out the barrel. And this Glock, as of now, has, let me see, not a lot of rounds to it. 225 rounds with one malfunction. And the malfunction was the trigger failed to reset. So that scares me, but we're going to take this to the range next. We're going to take this to Double Action. Okay, now, you don't have to go crazy with Glocks, anyway. You don't have to go crazy trying to find the center of the slide and all that bullshit. All you got to do, so I usually don't do videos of people home. There's people home on Saturday. All you got to do is look on each side of this sight, and there's a landing. And as long as the landing on each side is the same, you're in the center. So I'm going to look at this one, and it's dead nuts. Whoever put these on did an excellent job, and it is dead nuts. This is definitely something you can do by eye. You don't have to measure. So I'm going to crank this tight, and I'm going to get a hammer and a punch, a nylon punch. So I don't have a sight tool. I wish I did, but I don't. So I will get a punch like this, plastic punch, ball peen hammer, and I should be able to drift that sight right out of there. It's moving already. Okay, I know my hand's covering it, just see it moving. And pretty simple. Now I will hold on to these old sights in case I ever want to put them back on, or I don't know. I always hold on to Glock parts. Okay. Now, just out of curiosity, I'm going to flip it upside down and see if it's the same exact length, and it is. I mean, together, is it? Yeah, it is. That's good. You know what that means? That means I can use the same measurements as the old one was. So all I have to do is just make sure the landing is nice on each side, and I know I'm dead center. It's the same exact size. This way it's a little different, but it doesn't matter. As long as lengthwise they're the same, and they are exactly the same. Now what I will do now is dry fit it and see how far in it goes. Okay, I spun the slide around so I can work on it easier, so you guys can see what the hell I'm doing. All I did was, I got a file like this. This file sucks, I gotta get a new one, it's all worn out. And I just used a flat side of the file, and I just about 10 times. Now I'll try to fit it in there again. Oops, backwards. Perfect. It's coming in the gun halfway, it's on the slide halfway. Now it was like about here. Now it goes in there, and about to there it stops. Now I should be able to drive it in the rest of the way with the punch, okay? Yeah, we're in just about halfway, so that's good. What else the other thing I'm going to do is get some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and I'm going to get some Loctite. No, this is, it's called, the frigs is called? I forget what it's called. Some kind of, this comes with sights. It's this red stuff. It's not Loctite like a machine shop, because that shit's brutal. It's a little stronger than the blue stuff, but not as strong as the red stuff. So all I got to do is clean that off real good with alcohol. I'll use a nice clean Q-tip. Okay. And just clean that shit out of there. You don't want no oil or residue. You got to be thorough when you're putting sights on, because they have to be able to handle recoil, and you don't want them coming off. You don't want them drifting. Okay. Now this sight feels like it's going to be tight getting it in there, so I really got to be careful as I'm driving it in to know when to stop. I don't want to have to hit it this way, then hit it this way, then hit it this way. I might have to, because I don't have a sight tool. They have a sight tool. Glock sells it. I think it's like $100. You put it on there, you turn it, man, it works like a charm. But I'm not that fortunate to have that, so let me see something. Speed up the process, get a nice clean paper towel and wipe out that alcohol. I'm going to sit here and wait for it to friggin' dry. Okay, now I'll put this red Loctite on. This is like sight Loctite, that's what I call it. Just put a couple drops. Don't overdo it. Just like that. And now we're going to start drifting it in. Make sure this is nice and tight. Don't over tighten that. You crack your friggin' slide. It's possible. Especially if you're one of those big gorilla dudes. Alright. Alright, I don't know. It feels tight. We'll see what happens. It's going, but it's tight. That's good. That's what you want. Okay. I'm going to have to really whack this bastard. I'm going to bring it over here and crank, get it more stable. Alright. Okay, there it goes. It's going. This is where you have to be careful. Okay, now I'm cleared the landing. Now I want to, before I go any further, I'm going to clean off that excess Loctite because it's making it look weird. I want to get a good view on the landings. Okay, this sight is nice and tight. This is never going to come out. That's a good feeling, but you really got to be careful. Okay, moved again. It has to go that way, just a touch. Okay, I got it really centered good. Practically perfect, practically. And that's great. I feel good about that sight. You know what's cool about these night sights? These particular ones, these Glock night sights, they're steel. Okay, now all we got to do is take the front sight out. And how you do that is, I have a tool for that. And you got to hope to God it performs. Let's see what happens here. If it don't, it's not a big deal, but you can just get a pair of pliers and rip the sight off from the top with a pair of pliers and break it off. Yeah, I got it. Okay, I'm sorry, I know you can't see. Twisting it this way. This little tool came with the Big Dot Sights kit. But Glock actually makes one like this and it has a big handle on it. Sweet as hell. But we don't have that. Okay. Now I'll just punch out the front sight with this. Because I don't want to ruin it. I want to keep the sights there. It came right out. Okay, there's your front sight. And we're going to put our new sight on. Now remember, use the screw that comes with the sight because it's a different depth than the plastic one. Now I'm going to alcohol this, get that oil off there. And all I'm going to do is put some of that red stuff on the threads. But the whole thing to this is, even though the hole's oblong and the sight's oblong and it fits in to each other, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, you still have room for error, and it still can be on wrong. So you really got to give it a good eyeball. The old eyeball. This is kind of a tedious part, you know. Let's see. I hope this fits in here real tight. It's not real tight. But even though it's a fitted hole, you can still move the sight side to side. So what I'll do is put my finger there and I'll get this screw started. But before I do that, I'm going to put a drop of that thread lock on the threads. Remember, there's a lot of recoil. You gotta have some kind of thread lock. That's good. Just a smudging. Now watch you don't cross thread these. Very fine machine threads. And okay, now that I got this straight, now I'm going to hold this like this and put that in their hole and just twist very slowly because I don't want to cross thread. They're very fine machine threads. Okay, it's starting to tighten up now, but before I tighten it up, I'm going to look at this and I can tell already it's going this way. I want to turn it. That looks pretty good. I'm going to go with that. Sorry, not in frame. Okay. It looks pretty straight. Very straight. Okay, so I'm going to tighten it up. Now you can only go as tight as your fingers can tighten it. You don't want to put a wrench and real tighten it because you'll strip it, you'll snap the head off that nut. That's it. That's how it looks like inside. Sorry if some of it was out of frame. Usually I look back and forth with the camera, but when something comes, I have to have a steady hand. It's hard. I forget the camera's there. All right. My night sights are on. This is what I love about Glocks. It's just, you know, you can do everything to them. Nobody has to do anything. I don't have to pay anybody to do shit, you know what I'm saying? That bad boy on there. Landings are good on each side of the sight. Let's do this. This is one of the funnest guns I ever shot in my life. This is Glock 21. Awesome. Okay. If you ain't got night sights on your Glock, get yourself a set and do it yourself. See you later.